Hey guys, my name is Eugene, and I'll be walking you through using the GitFit application for you and your athletes. To get started, you'd want to go to gitfit.us/register, where you can then input your name, your email, and then your password, and then click register. Once you've clicked register, it will take you to a quick form that you can fill out. Feel free to skip this section. The next section is check-in questions. So anything that you send to your clients for biofeedback is what you might want to put in here, especially if it's a weekly biofeedback form that you have. You can just copy and paste it in here. For me right now, I'll just put in questions. And then you can choose the day for this check-in. So we have an automated email system that will automatically send out emails depending on the day that you want it to. So if you have a setup where you want your athletes or clients finishing their check-ins by Saturday morning, you can click on Friday so that the automated emails will send out on Friday, and hopefully all your clients will be reminded to do their check-in on that day before Saturday. After that is daily nutrition questions. In here is just additional information that you want to gather other than the macros, calories, water, and then weight that your athlete is tracking. So big ones here, we can just say fiber in grams, sleep in hours, and then any other questions you might want to add in here. Once you have that set up, you can also set up your daily default macro. This one's actually not going to matter too much, so you can actually just put default in here. Actually, for the sake of the example, we'll put refeed and we'll click create. It'll take you to the next page, which is inviting an athlete. There are two different options that you can choose here. One is the email option, which is you can just put in their email and their name. We recommend using that for new clients. And then for existing clients, if you have a large client base, we do recommend downloading the example import and then filling out that import for all the clients that you have, and then choosing that file again and importing it. After you've done the import, you should see your athletes coming through. And you can also check and see if you have any open invites for those athletes that haven't been accepted yet by clicking on See Open Invites. Once you have created a couple of athlete profiles, you can come in here and look at the athlete list. From here should be a very easily digestible list of all of the activities your clients have been up to, specifically tracking their macros, the total for the week, their weight, the water, and then you also have when they've last updated their nutrition and if they've checked in or not. So for Dread Pirate Roberts, let's jump in here. And we'll see there are a few different sections to begin with. One are the daily macros. So these are macros kind of like we created the general macro. This is the one from the beginning where you created. You are more than welcome to delete this, going to coach settings and then show all daily macros. And you have a specific macro for this client. So we have a general day macro for Dread Pirate Roberts, and we can either edit this macro or delete, or we can create a new macro by clicking on Create Personal Macro. Next up is the check-ins. So again, like the check-in questions we had created before for biofeedback, that will show up here, and these are the questions that you've asked. And then you can also continue a comment string on this one specifically by clicking on it and then adding in comments. So you'll see here, comments. All right. We'll head back to Dread Pirate Roberts again. And then you also have a section for general notes on this athlete. So if there's anything that you want to track for yourself but doesn't need to be seen by the athlete, you can add in some general notes here. And that will help you stay on track with if this person has issues with portion sizing, or if they just aren't very good at eating throughout the day. This is a great place to keep that information. Next up after that is looking at the athlete's personal information. Mostly what you can see is kind of some contact information, keeping track of this stuff, but the major item is tags. On here you can add in a bodybuilding tag, you can add in a losing weight tag, and then saving those changes will allow you to organize your athletes a little bit better. So say if we were to go back here, now I can look for losing weight, and you can tell that there is one specific athlete that's losing weight, and there's also two athletes that are trying to get into bodybuilding. So this will kind of help you organize your athletes and your workflow throughout the day. And then after that, the next thing that you can do up here is looking at their historical nutrition data. So this will have all of the information and nutrition that a client has logged since the beginning of time. Then you have historical nutrition or historical check-ins. This is where you'll be able to see all the check-ins that an athlete has filled out from the beginning of time as well. And then show checked-in images. So weekly progress pics, anything like that, if they upload an image to a check-in, we'll be able to look at those checked-in images from here. Obviously with this athlete, we haven't been putting in a lot of images, but one good note is that the athlete needs to put it in the check-in itself, not in the comments of the check-in. And then lastly, you can create a check-in. So if you have an athlete that isn't really doing very well with the automated check-ins and you have to kind of create a little bit more of a customized template for them, you can click on create a check-in and use your template to create a custom template to send to them. And then by clicking create, it will send an email notification to your client, and then it will also send a brand new check-in to them for them to fill out. Last little piece here, this one is a little bit more in beta, so, and it's a little bit more geared towards Utah, Arizona, Nevada trainers. But if you want to, you do have the option to start building out nutrition or nutritious meals and daily meal plans for your client based on what they ate before in the macros. It'll pop up here in a second, but you can see that for this athlete, they have been eating this many macros, so you can kind of plan a week of food for them in here. This is definitely initial, not entirely final, so you can play around with this if you would like, but my recommendation is only do it if you're in Utah, Nevada, or Arizona. Last little pieces here, you have these check-ins and athlete nutrition. You don't need to worry about those too much because it's just all the information ever created and tracked in here for all of your clients all at once, so that'll get a little confusing. My recommendation is stay in the athletes list and then stay with your athletes specifically. And then also take advantage of the help and chat button as well. So if you have any questions or anything like that, we're usually available during normal business hours for you to come in and chat with us with any questions you have. Or you can also go in here to see if there's any types of documentation that might address the question you have. This should cover the majority of the walkthrough. Again, you have my email, you do have my phone number as well from my email signature, and then you also have this chat with us button. So feel free to reach out at any time if you have any questions, and if you would like to do a thorough walkthrough and do also a consultation on how we can adjust the application and use the application to help match up with your processes, please let me know, because that is mostly what I'm here for right now, is to help you adopt the application and consult you on how to use the software best. But thanks for your time, and again, feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, or concerns you have.